Hi guys, thank you for clicking on this video. If this is your first time coming on this page, please subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, please list them below. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Information is on the screen. Let's get to today's video. Tolobeef. The only ingredients you're going to need is just a little bit of oil, onions, veggies of your choice, some beef, that's the Tolobeef, and rice. Now if you need to see how I made a Tolobeef, of course the video is attached below or linked below this video. So first I have one large onion that has been diced or sliced into the oil. The oil, I just use a couple of spoons to coat the bottom of the pan because we don't want too much oil in the rice. Again, this is Tolobeef with white rice or Angwa with Tolobeef, whichever you want to call it. So we're going to cook this onions for it to be halfway done. We don't want it too soft. So depending on how large you cut your onions, sometimes it may take a little longer to get it a little softer, or if they cut in smaller sizes, then of course it's going to cook a little faster. So whilst doing this, I'm cutting my Tolobeef into pieces, and I said there'll be a link below on how to make the Tolobeef. So I'm going to cut mine into smaller pieces so they can cook fast when it's added into the rice. At this time, I'm going to add the Tolobeef into it. Now, since the Tolobeef already has season and salt, I'm not going to be adding any salt or season into this food. Again, the Tolobeef is going to give you the ingredients in it. The link is below. So we're going to put the beef and the onions together. As you can tell, there's not too much oil in the pan. We don't want the rice to be cooked, then of course bringing the oil up. So just a little bit of oil. Now if your meat is a little fatty, then of course you can get some oil from it as well. But so far my oil in the pan is almost dried up, but it's enough to cook the rice. So we're going to cook this halfway. You don't want it all the way cooked because you don't want it mushy when the rice is cooked. You want some texture to it. So we're going to leave this on for maybe 2-3 minutes. Then of course add our rice to it. At this time, I'm still checking to make sure my pan is not burning and the meat is not overcooking. So at this time, I'm going to add, I always like to cook and have leftovers for whoever wants to eat later or maybe the next day. So I'm cooking 3 cups of rice. I'm using jasmine rice for this recipe today, and jasmine rice because I like the smell of it, and also it doesn't take too long to cook. Most of the food I cook is I use jasmine rice for it. Yeah, I'm trying to show you that there's not too much oil left in the pan. And we're going to add our rice to it. So that was about 2.5 cups. that I initially added, and I found out it wasn't going to be enough to have leftovers for the next day, so I later on added a half a cup to it. So just stir it up together, oil, the flavor, everything mixed together. Give it a low fry in the pan. So I love this one to fry a little bit. I'm going to try from the sunny flour. Then of course I added some water to it. Now the water is going to be based on the kind of rice you're using, and also how big your pot is, because you don't want your rice to be too soft when it's done. Some rice doesn't take too much water to cook, so depending on the kind of rice you're using. Now with this, I don't want the rice to be too soft or mushy when it's done, so of course I was going to use or put the water in as the time goes. I did add some more water to it just to cover the rice and to cook it some time. Then later on just sprinkle some water on it to soften the rice. So that was when I added a half cup of rice to it. At this time, the water I had added initially wasn't enough to cook the rice. So of course I'm going to add some more water. So the initial water and this total 2 measuring cups of water that I used. As you can tell, it's not too much water on the rice. It's enough to start the cooking, and as time goes on, if I feel I needed some more water, I'll just add more to it. But I'm going to lower the heat to medium because I don't want my rice to burn either. So at this time we have some water covering the rice. We're going to cover it to make sure all the ends are covered. We're not going to airtight. We're going to cover the top to make sure it's airtight. So even if it's the steam will be able to cook the rice. So just like you're cooking any other rice on stove, it's the same method, just that we have meat and onions in this rice. So at this time we're going to cover it. I did have a foil that I covered first with it, and this way it keeps the steam in it and makes the rice cook faster. So depending on the kind of rice you're using, the heat, and normally how long you cook the rice. This took about 10-15 minutes most to cook. So actually I had some carrots. I had 2 big carrots that I added onto it. And so the rice was ready after 15 minutes, y'all. It tasted very good and smelled very good. And with this we had fried egg or omelette with this. You can eat this with corned beef, or you can eat with sardine, with pepper, shito, or whatever you want to add to it. We have fried egg and also shito and red pepper with it. and it was very delicious. This was my first time making this dish. I love it. And Angwa hasn't always been my thing, but cooking it this way was the best. I will be cooking this again. So as you can see, I'm serving it. The black sauce I just put on is the shito. And of course, we have the red pepper and the omelette garnished with some onions. Bon appetit, y'all. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. If you have already, thank you so much. Thank you for watching this video and come back to see more.